You know, Bud, this just doesn't make sense. I mean, I cannot remember one time that Hoss was ever late for breakfast. I heard him moving around this morning when I got up. You know, maybe he fell on the floor and cracked his head. I better go on up there and check on him.
Stay right where you are, Joseph. If he'd fallen on his head, he'd come right through into the living room.
Yeah, that's true. Now, still I'm worried about him. Maybe I better go up anyway.
No. Will you sit down? I'll check.
We'll both check.
Morning, Paul. Hello, Joe. You two going someplace?
Well, no, actually, we thought maybe you'd decide to run away during the night.
Why would I do a dang fool thing like that?
What's mate?
That's good.
Fine, Paul, just fine.
Joseph, I think we have ourselves a sick boy in our hands.
Oh, it ain't that, Port. Well, it's them dad-burned new boots. Now, I know, you told me. I ain't got no business with a pair of fancy boots like that.
Yeah, I was even surprised they sold ladies' boots the size that fits your foot.
Joe, you want me to flatten you out all over this floor, don't you?
Well, heck no, I don't.
Now, just keep your sentiments to yourselves.
Dang foot's so sore I never would get that new boot on it. Started out just a little old bit of a blister. Now it's all swole up and sore and... Ah! Oh, Paul! Ah! Oh!
You better go to town, see Doc Kiefer. Can you get your old boots on, do you think?
I give them away.
Where did you ever find anybody in the whole territory of Nevada that had a foot the same size as that thing you got hanging on the end of your ankle?
Joe, I'm gonna sling you plumb through that wall, and you're gonna go all the way out to the barn and through that wall, and then plumb out in the woods and mow down about 10 acres of pine before you plow up a fur of that nose of yours.
Is that a threat? Hey, you there.
You talking to me?
That's right. Are you a native of these here parts?
Well, if you mean do I live here, yeah.
And you might tell me where I'll find the constabulary.
The what?
The constable.
Oh, mister, if you used to speak English.
I am English. I'm all the way from London, mate. Now, you tell me where I can find the police.
Oh, well, we got a sheriff. His name's Roy Coffey.
And where might I find him?
Well, his office is right down the street there, but likely as not you won't find him there. He generally stays on the move, keeping his eye on things around here. But just keep asking, you'll run into it.
Thank you.
Hello.
Howdy, Miss Sally. The doctor ain't in, ma'am?
I'm sorry.
Well, I'll just sit over here and wait a spell.
Well, he's gone to Carson City. Doctor there's real sick and there's some kind of emergency. I don't expect Dr. Kiefer back for 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days, huh?
Is there anything I can do for you?
No, ma'am. It ain't nothing serious anyhow.
Hoss, it doesn't seem right. One doctor in Virginia City. This town's growing. Couldn't you speak to your pa about it? He gets things done around here. Maybe he could get us another doctor.
Ain't a bad idea. And I'll sure talk to him. Bye, ma'am.
Bye now.
Step closer and hear me well. From secrets found in India, from formulae smuggled from Africa, through me to you this wondrous elixir, this balm for our bodily vicissitudes, the surcease from pain. Step closer and hear my words, ladies and gentlemen. I do not claim that this magic formula will cure any serious disease, nor will it mend a broken bone. Although it does wonders for a broken heart. On sale right now, ladies and gentlemen, just 50 cents for one full bottle of ease and comfort. $1/2, a mere pittance indeed, for the cure of rheumatism, insomnia, the pain of burns, cuts, bruises.
I'll take a couple of those, mister.
You were here yesterday, weren't you, my dear sir? Obviously a satisfied customer.
Don't you dare, Fred Larkin. That stuff is spirits. That's all it is, spirits.
It cured my insomnia. I slept good last night. Real good.
There's no disputing that. And you slept just as good all day.
Sorry, my good friend, the show is over. I now have to find a place to rest my rolling palace for the night.
Well, look, Professor, if you don't mind, you're going to be heading out of town this way. I'll ride along with you.
Suit yourself, my friend, but I warn you, I'm in a loquacious mood. This place has an air of tranquility.
Doggone, Professor, you sure got a fancy way of saying things. And convincing, too. You even make that medicine sound like it's powerful.
Thank you, my good friend. Your kind words restore my aching soul. Almost. But this, too, can restore my aching soul. Almost. Sometimes.
Professor, you reckon that stuff's any good at restoring an aching foot?
My good friend, this heavenly elixir is the natural enemy of pain. The small phial of liquid magic is guaranteed to... No, I don't know.
But you said it's a painkiller. Rheumatism, cuts, bruises?
Yes, so I did, my good friend, so I did. You see, there are certain pains in the foot and leg which are symptomatic of more serious ailments, and I suggest in this case...
Professor, the pain I got in my foot is just from a plain old blister that I got it from wearing these dad-burned fancy boots I didn't have no business with in the first place.
Do you find if I look?
Sure wish I had my old ones back. A dang big fool hayseed like me ain't got no business with a pair of fancy boots like that anyhow.
That is a gentleman's boot, and there's no reason at all why you shouldn't wear it. It's first-class workmanship, too. Made in England, all the way from London. Yes, I too am English-made, all the way from London. But the workmanship in this case, quite definitely, is not first class.
All the way from England, huh? Yeah, that's funny. That's real funny. This morning, a little fella got off the stage in Virginia City all the way from London.
Well, that seems surprising, to be sure.
Well, Professor, I got to be running along. Enjoyed talking with you.
My privilege, I assure you, sir. Good conversation, honest laughter. It's become a rare privilege.
Maybe one of these days I'll run into you again.
Oh, just a minute. You forgot this. Well, look, if you're not pressed for time, why don't you join me in the shade and we'll take our medicine like gentlemen?
All right. Thank you. I don't mind if I do, Professor. Boy, that is fine.
Told me I'd find Sheriff Coffee here.
Sheriff Coffee's over there.
Sheriff Coffee?
That's right.
My name's Crippen. Thomas H. Crippen.
Yeah, I know. Sit down. Just having dinner. Won't you have something?
No, but thanks all the same.
Have a nice ride down from Denver?
You know all about me, don't you?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. It's just that it's part of my job to know as much as I can about everybody in Virginia City.
And like as not, you know about the man I'm looking for.
That could be. Who's that?
He's an Englishman, and a doctor, no less. His name's Mundy. Doctor P.A. Mundy.
Nope, don't know no Englishman doctor around here.
Oh, he's here, all right, but you just don't know it, that's what.
Now, what makes you so sure about that?
Ain't I been trailing him across land and sea for nigh on a year?
What are you trailing him for? What do you want with him?
He's the man that murdered my wife. And he's somewhere here, you can take my word for it. And I'll find him.
Bueller, what kind of pie we got today?
Any kind of apple pie you want.
Tell you, Professor, beats me plumb sideways.
What beats you plumb sideways, Sergeant?
Well, you coming all the way across country in that wagon all alone.
It was an experience.
No, thank you, Professor. It must have got awful lonesome, huh? Didn't it get lonesome?
You know, I started to say no, not at all. I rather liked you, but you have the most extraordinary talent for drawing the truth out of the most accomplished liar. Yes, it was very lonesome. Yeah. You know, it's remarkable, really, whenever I chance to have a conversation with a man, or a woman for that matter, at some point they always ask, Professor Poppy, for an apparently intelligent and well-educated man, why do you live as you do? You haven't asked that question.
Well, I don't reckon it's any of my business, Professor.
No, these boots were made only for you, Mr. Cartwright. I've eased the heel. You just have the cobbler work on it a little bit.
I'll tell you, Professor, that painkiller you gave me did great things for my head, but it ain't done much for this foot.
Mind if I take a look?
That potion you got, it's mighty wicked stuff. Where you get it, anyhow?
I was head of my chemistry class at school. I make it myself. It's quite harmless if taken by the teaspoonful as directed. Can you turn over, Horace? I'd like to take a closer look at that.
Oh. I should say that foot must hurt like the very devil. You've got quite a nice little infection going there for you.
There ain't nothing very nice about it, Professor, I'll tell you.
No. Can you navigate to the doctor's office, or should I fetch him here?
Well, there ain't no use in me navigating or you fetching either one. Dr. Kiefer's in Carson City.
Is he the only doctor in town?
Only one.
Well, maybe he's back by now.
He won't be back for 2 or 3 days. Look, is it anything serious?
Any infection is serious. This is only just started, but in 2 or 3 days.
Look, Professor, why don't you do something about it? Come on, Professor. Burn it, all the work you did on that boot, I want to wear it again.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't say anything about this to anyone.
Of course, Professor, whatever you say.
Well, it would completely ruin my reputation as a charlatan and a rogue if anyone found out I could perform the task of a real medical man.
Afternoon. Hoss still inside?
Why, no.
Oh. Well, he did get to see Doc Keefer, didn't he?
Well, yes, but that was hours ago. And he didn't get to see Dr. Keefer because Dr. Keefer's in Carson City.
Oh.
But if I see Hoss, I'll surely tell him you're looking for him.
Well, thank you very much. He's probably around. I'll find him. Thank you.
Look, Mr. Crippen, this Mr. Doctor or whatever his name is that you're looking for, he could be hiding out anywhere.
Now, you listen here, Sheriff. You're supposed to know about these things.
Howdy, Ben. Come in.
I don't want to interrupt anything, Sheriff, but I'm looking for a lost little boy. About 6'4", any way you want to measure him.
No, Ben, I ain't seen Hoss all day. Meet Miss Crippen here. Miss Crippen, this is Ben Cartwright.
How do?
Crippen?
Mr. Crippen has got a problem that, if he don't mind my saying so, not only spoiled my dinner, but just about gave me the indigestion. As you know, Ben, I'm a simple lawman, and I don't claim to know a dang thing about international detective work.
International detective work?
That's right. Mr. Crippen here claims that he come all the way from England hunting a Dr. What'd you say his name was?
Mundy. Doctor P.A. Mundy.
Dr. Mundy. And he also claims that Dr. Mundy murdered his wife.
He did all right, and don't you forget it.
And he further claims that Dr. Mundy is right here in Virginia City. Now, the only doctor I know around here is old Dr. Kiefer. And you?
Yeah, it's about the only one. Are you a lawman, Mr. Crippen?
I am not.
Well, do you have a warrant or whatever they call it in England for the arrest of this Dr. Mundy?
No, it's a personal matter, Sheriff.
It's a personal matter. Well, if you don't have an official charge against this man, I'm warning you, don't try to take the law into your own hands.
Sheriff, all I want is a simple answer to a simple question. Do you know whether Dr. Mundy's in Virginia City?
No, I do not.
I think you're holding back, but it don't matter. I'll find him.
Boy, are you holding something back?
Then the truth is, I don't know any Dr. Mundy in Virginia City. There is a medicine man been in town, and he lives in one of them fool wagons. Goes under the name of Professor P.A. And he does talk with one of them English accents.
Hey, you think he might be the one?
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to find out before that Crippen does. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you, old Doc, I didn't know how bad I was feeling until I got feeling this good again.
And I'll tell you, I'll have to take care of that foot and don't wear the boots until it's completely healed.
Lord of mercy, I'm hungry. I mean really hungry. I ain't had nothing on my stomach since supper last night. Come on in here, I'll buy us a dinner like you ain't seen before. Howdy, Miss Allie Lou.
Well, hello, Hoss.
Ma'am.
Your pa's been looking for you.
Easy. Oh, thank you, ma'am. Miss Allie, I'd like you to meet a friend of mine. This here's Professor P.A. Miss Allie Lou.
Charmed, Miss Allie.
How do you do? How's your foot, Hoss?
Oh, it's just fine, ma'am. Thanks to the professor here.
Oh, are you a medical man, Professor?
Well,
Well, not exactly.
What a pity.
It is indeed.
That's him! He's a murderer, a blighter! You murderer! You murderer!
Wait a minute, you crazy little murderer! What's the matter with you?
He's the butcher that killed my old woman! Reverend him! He's a murderer, a blighter! You murderer, butcher! Killed my old woman!
Will you shut up?
Is that your real name, sir? Mundy?
Yes.
And were you a doctor in England?
Yes, that's right.
Crippen here claims that you murdered his wife, did you?
Am I on trial?
No, we don't need no trial, just to determine a few facts.
Does Mr. Crippen have any proof of his accusations?
No, he just said that you murdered his wife.
My wife's dead. Ain't that proof enough?
Mr. Crippen's wife was fatally ill. As a physician, I tried to save her life. She died on the operating table. Do you call that murder?
No, I certainly do not, and I'm sorry, Doc. He didn't say how it happened.
The British authorities will be happy to verify it for you.
But I call it murder. He took the will of God in his own hands, he did. I call it murder.
Unless you have any further questions, Sheriff, I'd like to go now.
You go right ahead. You're free as a bird. Rest you folks can go on about your business, too. And you cause any more trouble in this town, you're going to be the one to wind up in jail, you hear?
Hey, Doc. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on there. Where are you going anyhow? What about that big feed being you was going to have? I'm getting frail.
Well, thanks, old house. Some other time.
Anyone here? Hello? Oh, I thought the place was deserted.
Well, relatively speaking, it is at the moment, young lady. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm Allie Lou.
Yeah, I remember your horse's friend. I remember you very well.
If you're not busy, I'd like to speak with you.
No, I'm more or less disengaged at the moment. It would be a pleasure. Oh, no. My drawing room is currently in a state of disorder. If you'll excuse me one moment. Here we are. Well, it's much more pleasant in the garden anyway. Won't you sit down, Miss Allie?
Thanks.
There we are. Oh, no. No, you'd probably disapprove. Could I brew you some tea?
Oh, no. Please, I really don't care for anything. But you go right ahead.
Thank you, Miss Allie Lou. Do you know an expression, physician, heal thyself? That is my cure.
That's what I came out here to talk to you about. You being a doctor, I mean.
You are mistaken. I am not a doctor.
But you said in the restaurant you were Dr. Mundy.
Yes, I was once a romantic, idealistic young man, too. That was a long time ago.
I see. Well, I was just hoping. You see, we so desperately need another doctor in Virginia City, and I thought maybe
That's impossible. That's absolutely impossible.
Why?
Why? Well, tell me, why is an attractive young woman like you still unmarried?
Because I've never found the right man.
Exactly. And I have never found the right reason to be a doctor again.
Then I'd better be getting back to town. It's been nice talking to you.
It's nice
Doctor.
talking to you, Miss Alley. You know, between people like you and us Cartwright, I'm almost beginning to become nostalgic about the human race again.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Bye, Miss Alley.
It would be nice having you back in the human race.
That's what all the fellas said, anyway. Hey, Hoss.
Hoss? Oh, we sure waited long enough for that stage to come in from Sacramento. Then the driver gives us a message that Adam won't be back till next week.
Oh. What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
And what are you staring at the fire for, then?
Ain't I got a right to sit here and stare at the fire?
How's your foot?
Fine, Paul. Just fine.
Now, Doc Keefer's back in town. You want him to take a look at it?
You know, using Doc Keefer looking at it. It's healing fast. I'll be back in my boots in 2 or 3 days.
Sure is wonderful the way that's been healing up so quickly.
Sure is. What's happening in town, anyhow?
No, nothing much, I can tell you that. Sheriff Coffey's about to run that Cribbin fella out of town, though.
Oh, yeah? What's he done now?
Mostly talk. He's going around town trying to stir people up, saying that Doc P.A murdered his wife, yelling about the will of God and an eye for an eye.
An eye for an eye, huh? I sure don't like that kind of talk.
You know what Doc Keefer said? That Dr. P.A. at one time was the most promising young surgeon in London.
How would Dr. Keefer know about that?
Well, I know Virginia City's off the beaten path, but I guess he reads the medical journals.
Is Doc P.A still around?
Oh, I'm sure he is. His wagon's still there. That Cribbin fella is like a human loco weed.
Yeah, trouble is that some people put a lot of stock in loco weed.
Look, Paul, I want to take a little ride into town.
Well, it's getting kind of late for that, isn't it?
Yeah, but Doc P.A is one of the finest fellows I know. There ain't no telling what this fella Cribbin's liable to do.
Oh, so I don't want you to get involved.
I gotta get involved, Paul.
Glad to see you, boy. You just here in time to let me beat you at a game of checkers.
Howdy, Roy. Roy, I ain't got time. Besides, I want to talk to you about something serious.
About what?
Well, Roy, what are you going to do about this fella Cribbin?
Boss, what can I do? I don't like this Cribbin any better than you do, but he ain't done nothing.
Well, he's going around accusing the professor, the doctor, of murdering his wife, ain't he? Talking about an eye for an eye.
Oh, them are just words. You know I can't arrest nobody for just saying words. Besides, he don't seem to be bothering the doctor none. Leastways, he ain't making no complaints.
Yeah, but it's just because the doctor don't know what's good for himself. It's like he's so dang beat, he just don't care no more or something.
Well, if he don't care, why should you?
Well, maybe that's just the reason I do, because he don't. I'll see you, Roy.
Yeah, sure. Hope your foot gets better.
Thank you, Roy. It'll be all right. Hi, Doc. I brought us something good to eat. Doc, you ain't taking care of yourself. You ain't eating right. And you're taking too much of your own medicine.
Gosh, this is my friend, my best friend, my only friend.
No, that ain't exactly true. You got another friend, whether you want him or not.
Now you know the answer to the question you were too much of a gentleman to ask. Now you know why an apparently intelligent, well-educated man leads the life I do.
No, I'm not for sure that I know it all, Doc.
Crippen. Crippen, my old friend, Thomas H. Crippen. You saw him, the little man who made my destruction his life's work. He made a very good try of it, too.
Well, I understand that, but what I don't understand is how a little polecat like Crippen could do a thing like this to you.
Well, I said a doctor is the most vulnerable of men, and a surgeon is the most vulnerable of the most vulnerable. His reputation is as delicate as the little soft spot on the top of a newborn baby's head. Crippen just talked me to death. Mrs. Crippen did not have a chance, but I, Doctor P.A. Mundy, I had a try. I know you won't tell anybody about this. I'm gonna tell you what the P.A. stands for. That stands for Percival Alexander.
Look, Doc, lots of folks die in operations, don't they?
Oh, yes, they do, regrettably. Yeah. Someday when we know more, but no, death comes very often. But Crippen, very rare. Sort of a genius. No time at all, he turned me into a regular Jack the Ripper with a scalpel in my hand. Well, that's all over and done with. So am I.
Oh, Doc, you can always start all over again. I mean, around this country, we need lots of doctors.
Oh, I know. Whatever it was I had is gone. There's a hope, the courage, the magic. That's all gone. There's nothing to start with anymore, and very little to end with.
We should eat some of this food. We got a mighty good cook.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing it.
Doc, why did Crippen do it? I mean, what's his reason?
Oh, don't ask questions. Don't dwell on the reasons, the Crippens of this world. That would ruin you, and I like you as you are.
Well, I'll tell you, he worries me. He worries the stuffing out of me. Going around with all that talk about the will of God and an eye for an eye, he's liable to do more than just talk.
Nonsense.
Well, why'd he follow you all the way out here for, then?
Well, perhaps he couldn't bear to be separated from the objects of his obsessions. He might even have... Oh, I don't know.
Hey, Doc. You gotta go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, get in your bunk. I brought a bedroll, and I'll make down out here for the night.
That's a good idea. Guest in the house. Will you take the bunk, because I sleep in the fresh air.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you do at that.
Hey, you'll be here in the morning to see me hit the trail partner at sunrise.
Just where are you going to be going at sunrise?
I'll push onto the Pacific like a weary Balboa. When I get to the Pacific, I'm time to watch.
Hush, don't move. Don't, stay where you are, don't. Gently, boys, that's it. Just easy, easy. Who in God's name would want to shoot House Cartwright and in the back, too? All right, give me some room here, please.
Sam, I believe you'd best ride out to Ponderosa and tell Ben Cartwright what happened. And circle back by Poppy's camp and see if you can't find some trace of that Crippen. Henry, you look for him in town. He can't have got away far. Now, if you need help, get it, but bring him back fast. Doc, you come with me, please, sir? Doc, if you will, I'd like to hear the whole story in detail. Please.
I just heard, Dr. Kiefer. I'd have been here sooner. Is it bad?
Worse than bad. More cutting, please. Thank you.
Doc, you'll have to excuse me, but it's just awfully hard for me to believe. Now, you say you're not sure that you heard a shot, but you are sure it was Crippen you saw coming out of the wagon.
It was Crippen.
I should have run you both out of town. I had a minder, and I should have done it.
Crippen thought I was asleep in the wagon. I wish I had been.
Quick, Doc, in here.
You ain't got no right to hold me in here like this. No right at all.
Found him in his room at the hotel, Sheriff. Found this, too.
I got a right to have a gun.
But you got no right to use it on a sleeping man.
I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me that did it. You can't say I did. You got no proof and you got no evidence.
We got a witness. Saw you sneaking out of that wagon.
That's a lie, Sheriff. There was nobody to... Nobody to...
Nobody to what? Go on. There was somebody, Crippen. And he saw you.
You think I killed him because I hated him for what he'd done to me? It was an eye for an eye. He deserved everything he got for what he did to my wife. And there ain't a magistrate in London that won't agree with me on it. It's out of your hands now, Sheriff. It's a matter for the British law.
Is that a fact?
I'm a British subject. Mundy's a British subject. And what happens is a case for the British police, not the Sheriff of Virginia City, Nevada.
It was Hoss Cartwright that you shot, and that does make it a case for Nevada law. And if Hoss dies, ain't a man in this whole territory but would vote to hang you.
Way. What do you want me to do? Wait till my brother Hoss dies.
Is it that bad?
Doc Kiefer said he can't get that bullet out. He said my brother doesn't have a chance. So let me in there.
No! Now, wait a minute. We got to do this thing legal. Your dad had wanted it that way, and so would ours.
My brother Hoss dies. And Crippen doesn't hang. I swear to you, I'll kill him.
Now, Joe.
No, I can't consider it.
But he's bleeding to death.
I tell you, I can't get to it.
Of course you can't, not with a probe.
But you're asking for the kind of surgery that... It's too tricky, too risky.
Rob, you've got to do something.
I can't, Ben.
Why?
I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the skill.
You're telling me that
My boy's just gonna lie there and die without help from either one of you?
I can't help him, Ben. Dr. Mundy is a surgeon.
No.
He was one of the best. He has the knowledge and the skill.
That was another man, another world. I'm sorry, I can't.
Doctor!
I'm no longer a doctor.
You'll always be a doctor. When you took your Hippocratic oath, you pledged yourself to be a doctor for the rest of your life.
Will you leave me alone?
My son is dying.
Do you want me to kill him? I haven't used these as a surgeon for too long.
You don't forget, Doctor. You don't forget.
I can't risk it.
Risk it? What are you risking, Doctor? My son is in there, maybe dying, because of his friendship for you. What about his risk? He believed in you, Doctor. I believe in you. Help him.
Sally, would you get me a very large pot of black coffee, please? Ben, would you get my bag of instruments from the wagon?
Little Joe's right. The man that you've been so anxious to kill is now the only man that can possibly save your neck.
You can't let them get at me. They can't take the law in their own hands. You gotta protect me. I got my rights. I'm a British subject.
I'll tell you what you are. In my opinion, you are positively the lowest.
It's awfully close to the heart.
Not for a sure hand, Doctor.
Ready, Doctor?
You gave us all a bit of a scare.
Oh, Doc. I wouldn't even consider dying without my new boots on.
Thank you, Doctor.
Knowledge, the skill, and the courage.
Yes, sir. Remember, no hard riding and absolutely no brawling for at least another 6 weeks.
Sure wish you'd change your mind, Doc. I know Doc Keever would love to have you stay, too.
So would a lot of people.
I really wish you'd consider it.
Now, you know I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'll be back one day as soon as I've straightened out a few things in merry old England.
What if the little skunk there turns into a snake again and comes after you after he gets out of territorial prison?
Come on. He can't hurt me, not anymore. Miss Allie Lou, I hope to see you.
You will. I'll be right here.
Ben, Joe.
Take care, Doc.
Well, old horse.
Take him home, Abby.
You know, those boots aren't so bad. Oh, sir, I mean it. Matter of fact, I think they're pretty nice boots. Real fine boots.
You don't have to tell me that, little brother. I know they are.